I think that it depends on the situation. There's a best tool for every job, right? So I'm not gonna pull out a screwdriver to get a nail on the floor. So I think the hitbox is the best well-rounded controller. If we're talking about well-rounded, I think so. But I can definitely see certain situations for like if you want something intuitive for certain things, like let's say an SPD. If you don't have the information, then you may kind of be lost in the hitbox for a while, which is why we do so much work to educate people. But quite frankly, if I'm being honest with you, like the leverless is kind of the path most of the time.
I can agree with that. I feel like, and obviously I'm a leverless player myself, you know, for me the reason it made sense was because I had that type of muscle coordination already from playing instruments. So it was like, all right, I know how to use my hands to do that, and with a stick it was this discrete thing that I had to figure out. I do feel like games in general are being designed with controllers more in mind more and more than the more classic fighting games, which were obviously designed with an arcade stick in mind because they were to be deployed in an arcade. Okay.
Yeah, like and not to mention that like you see that a lot of like fighting games that are coming out now, they're trying to I guess tailor to just, you know, or try to capture more of the casual audience. And you see like, you know, more of the controller configurations, especially pad configurations, is getting a little bit easier, right? Nobody's saying that like they're giving you the option to be like, okay, well, you don't have to, you know, put this input in to do a dragon punch. You can actually do this, right? You can actually just do something easier like R2 and triangle or something.
Sure. I mean, I think even more than that too, I think just the converse, like the talking point of feeling as though you have to play on a stick in order to perform at the highest level has largely eroded. And I think as titles come out where people start with pad, people have really made sense of using different peripherals and executing at that same degree.
Yeah. And
I think the old school, that was a Japanese influence, right? In the early days, like stick is the way. And because of the, you know, in a weird way, COVID actually changed the FGC quite a bit in many ways, right? More than just events and things like that. Even the controls we use now, so many pro players could not, they all wanted to try it and they all knew it was better for them, but they just could not take the time, similar to where I was, but, you know, at a much higher stake. They couldn't take the time because they couldn't afford to lose. They had sponsors, they had to perform, and that's a lot of stress on someone. But once that's off the table, once you could just work on improving, they're like, yeah, I have all this time, why not?
It just makes me feel like we were talking about, you know, that pipeline of like extreme hobbyist to pro. You need a down season to be able to try out new stuff.
Yeah. Like that really is important.
Season.
That really is important to experiment, to you know, figure out whatever. Like you could have a character you know you want to learn, but you have a tournament next week. You know, that's the one thing I'll say about the old system that maybe was a little bit too much, was there was always a tournament, and unless you were a literal professional that got paid and that was your job, it was very risky for you to even attempt that. You know, even to take